Hey everybody, welcome back to When Harry Met Board Games. Today we are unboxing another game. Today I'm going to be unboxing this game right here, Marvel Heroes. And this game here was first published in 2006. So this is almost a 20-year-old game. It's from the same team of designers that made the War of the Ring, which is a very popular game in the industry that's had multiple additions to it. This game here has not had the same success. I think it circulated in print for a few years, went out of print, has never been reprinted or re-implemented. But me being the big Marvel fan that I am, I really wanted to add this to my collection. So I found a user on eBay who I was able to buy it off from him for a very, very good price. Albeit there are some components that are not necessarily in pristine condition. With that being said, we're going to open up the lid here. This is a used game. It has been loved. You can see by the wear and tear on the box corners here. And we have the rule book here and nice cover artwork here. And let's see here. Explanation of the different phases of the game. Okay, phase 3. All right. And that's it. Not too thick of a rule book. 15 pages, not too bad. And then here we have the game board, which consists of a map of Manhattan and the outskirts of Queens and Brooklyn as well. And the board is not in the greatest condition, so I do want to be careful as I unfold it here. But we have the different districts of Manhattan represented here: Greenwich Village, Lower East Side, Financial District. As you can see, the back here is a little peeled off. As I mentioned, this is a nearly 20-year-old game, and I'm just glad that I was able to find it. We have Central Park and Carnegie Hall. We've got East Harlem. Here, Queens, which is where I'm from. That's another reason why I really resonate with these maps of New York, because I was born and raised in New York. We've got Astoria, Steinway, Long Island City. I lived there for many years. Sunnyside. And of course, as I mentioned, we also have some of the areas in Brooklyn. Brooklyn Heights, Williamsburg, and such. And I'm a big fan of games where the board is a map of a real-world place. And in particular, I'm going to have a special place in my heart for New York, where I was born and raised. And here are different slots for the different challenges that players will be trying to overcome. And there is a scenario card. This is really cool. This is a competitive game. However, there are like 10 scenarios that the game comes with. So certain scoring conditions and victory conditions and the length of the game will be modified according to this. This is a good old victory point game where there's a victory point track. The winner of the game will be the player with the most VPs at the end of the game. Here we have these cards here. And they are the character cards, because this is a game that plays from 2 to 4 players, and each player is going to control a team. And the 4 teams represented in this game are Avengers, X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Marvel Knights. And each team consists of 4 characters. I have this mixed up a bit here, but we have Thor. And each character has stats in these 3 different attributes. These are the 3 different types of challenges that you'll find in the game. You got danger, crime, and mystery. They'll also have some abilities. They'll have a ready ability, and they'll have an supporting ability. So the characters can either be ready or they can be supporting. Characters that are supporting are basically helping the ready characters. So they have abilities according to that. They have their health points, how much it takes for them to be knocked out, the level, how powerful they are. And they have 3 different attack types, because throughout the course of the game, it's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors situation where players are going to be choosing what type of attack type they want to do secretly and simultaneously reveal it. Because even though you're not fighting the players, you're fighting villains who represent like another party, They're not among the 4 players. It will be one of the players that will control the actions and the dice rolling for the villain. This is a dice rolling game. There's a lot of dice rolling going on throughout the course of the game that you got to look out for. What else? So we have Storm here. We have this. This here is the X-Men card here. It's just everybody has this like player aid that takes you through the different rounds and the different actions that you can take. Here we have Human Torch. We have Doctor Doom. He's actually one of the villains. So there are 4. There's lots of minor villains like henchmen and minions and such, but there's only 4 main villains, one corresponding with each of the 4 different teams. Fantastic Four has Doctor Doom, and the Marvel Knights have Kingpin, Avengers have Red Skull, and the X-Men have Magneto. And as I mentioned, although a player isn't represented by this villain, it will be a human player who will take the actions for this villain and roll the dice for this villain when they're combating their particular nemesis. So for example, Doctor Doom will only be fighting with the Fantastic Four player. Here we have Jean Grey or Phoenix. We have Cyclops. We have Wolverine. And we have Invisible Woman. Each character is also associated with a particular threat type, and that's relevant for the game as well. We have Thing, we have Iron Man, we have Captain America, we have Hulk. Again, the player aid for the Avengers. Here's Magneto, who's the nemesis for the X-Men. We have Mr. Fantastic, Kingpin, the nemesis of the Marvel Knights. Here's another player aid and another player aid. Here we have Spider-Man. Here we have the Man Without Fear, Daredevil. Here we have Doctor Strange. And here we have Elektra. And then we have Red Skull, who's the nemesis for the Avengers. And that's it as far as the different characters, the main characters in the game. As I mentioned, there are secondary villains here, or secondary villains and heroes. So these cards here, I have sleeved them. I did not get them sleeved. But we have tons of different secondary heroes who, although they're associated with a particular group, so for example, Silver Surfer is associated with the Fantastic Four. However, a non-Fantastic Four player can play Silver Surfer, although the Fantastic Four player will have an advantage if he plays it or if she plays it. They will have a bonus effect. Basically, it translates to Silver Surfer will last in their player area a little bit longer. They'll be able to trigger an action or 2 more, depending on different circumstances. So you are incentivized, if you are a Fantastic Four player, to play a Silver Surfer card. We have some events cards like Mighty Energies. There's some more allies like Archangel. We have J. Jonah Jameson. We have Scarlet Witch. We have Black Bolt and Medusa. We have May Parker. We have another event here, Enlightening Hunch. We have Quicksilver, Hawkeye. So we have a good amount of the Marvel characters represented here. We have Blade and Black Widow. We have Nick Fury and She-Hulk. We have Black Cat. We have The Watcher. We have Luke Cage. We have Shadow Cat. Okay, again, a few more events. Black Panther, Colossus, Lockjaw, Rogue, Professor Xavier, Namor, The Vision, Beast, some more events, The Punisher, Alicia Masters. Okay, we have Ghost Rider, and we have Emma Frost, Iron Fist, Nightcrawler, and Crystal. So we've got a good amount of heroes represented in this game in some fashion or another, because not only do we have the main characters, which consist of 16 different heroes across the Marvel Universe, but we have like another 24 characters or so represented through these ally cards. Then we have these, this is the villain deck of cards, and basically we have other villains, not as notorious perhaps as the 4 main villains of this game, but still really good villains. Omega Red, and they vary in power too. Some of them need 3 KOs, some of them need 2 KOs, some of them need 1 KO to be removed. Mole Man, Avalanche, Bullseye. So again, a lot of different villains. across the Marvel Universe, Absorbing Man, Super Skrull, we've got Spiral and Viper and the Mad Thinker and Wizard and Sentinels and Green Goblin and Blastar and Ultron, Hydro Man, Dragon Man, Abomination, Mysterio, Kraven, Pyro, Venom. So we see lots of popular Spider-Man characters and X-Men characters from the 90s that predominated. This was 2006 or so still feel the lingering effects of the 90s. Shocker and the Silver Samurai, Electro, Crimson Dynamo, Titania, Enchantress, Lizard, Sauron. We've got Sabretooth and Toad. That's it. We've got Sandman. And they have the equivalent of their event cards for the villains. These are different. They call them agents. They're not quite specific characters. And very often what they do is they hinder the player that this card is played against in some other fashion. They're not a direct enemy attacking them like the other enemies are. Sandman, Rhino, the Hand Ninja here. We have Dormammu, Molecule Man, Mystique, Dr. Octopus, and Vulture. Okay. And then we have a bunch of these smaller cards here that consist of the different threats that are going to be represented in each of the districts. I wish they had better artwork, but they have a little bit of, I guess, mild storyline, and they have different threat levels, different amount of victory points associated to them. So when you defeat these levels, these different threats, that's how you get your victory points. And basically, there's always a bad guy there to basically prevent you from getting these threats. And then we have these particular team-specific cards. Each team has these 3 different cards that they're trying to advance. And so each team has 3 of these. And as they claim these from the respective tracks, they will be getting victory points for themselves. And here are their team-specific upgrades. So each team has 3 specific upgrades, and different actions that they trigger throughout the course of the game will allow them to activate these upgrades and give them permanent advantages. But the villains, like Kingpin and such, they also have their own upgrades that can be activated and make them more difficult going forward. And here are some more of these threat cards. Then we have the different scenarios, as I mentioned, and they're like based on different storylines. We have Onslaught, The Brood, Evolutionary War, House of M. We've got Maximum Carnage, Acts of Vengeance, Galactus is Coming, Inferno. We have Marvel Heroes, and we have another one here in the box. I can't quite get it. Okay, here we go. And it's Born Again, and I believe this is the startup scenario, the introduction to the game. And then finally, the main event of the game, aside from these tokens, not the greatest looking tokens, but they're not, I guess, too crucial to gameplay, but the miniatures, right? And these are pre-painted miniatures. You don't really see this nowadays. And honestly speaking, for the mid-2000s, I do find that the quality is really, really good. This right here is Thing. And for me, who I am not a painter at all, I've dabbled into it and I've regretted it. I'm really bad. I can appreciate pre-painted miniatures. Here is the Hulk. I love it. You can see the proportions. These two love to go at it, right? Okay. And then here's Invisible Woman. And again, maybe not the most amazing quality and detail, but for the mid-2000s, they're pretty good. Now, I do have some casualties. I believe my Daredevil piece, the stand, fell off. It's separated, so he no longer stands. I have to kind of like lay him on the board, but that's okay. Most of these are still in really, really good condition. Here we go. This is Iron Man. And I've seen worse Iron Man molds, so I'm not complaining. And again, it comes pre-painted, so definitely gives you a nice table presence, all things considering. The board is not the prettiest, and again, it's used on top of it all. But just seeing those different Marvel heroes on the board really, really gets me excited. I'll pull out one more for this video. I'll pull out Doctor Doom here, who his cape is no longer permanently attached, but if you fiddle with it a bit, you can attach it there, and it'll stay for the remainder of the game. But yeah, pretty cool. Getting ready for Avengers Doomsday here, huh? All right. Robert Downey Jr., eat your heart out. All right, so that's it for today's unboxing. Thank you so much for joining us here at When Harry Met Board Games. Comment down below. Tell me if you've played Marvel Heroes. Tell me if this game interests you, what you think about it. I'm interested in reading what you guys have to say. This is Harry saying take care, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have fun gaming. Bye-bye.